This guy is a wrecking machine, and he's hungry.
All of you chumps are gonna bow. I'm gonna show you how great I am.
Money.
You're listening to The Real Estate Debate with Mr. Credit on AM 760 KFMB. If you'd like to contact Mr. Credit, visit mrcredit.org.
All right, welcome to a very special edition of The Real Estate Debate. We're actually not going to be debating anything today, Sean Cahay and my co-host from Cornerstone Mortgage Group. We've actually got a legitimate reality TV star in the studio with us, a real estate reality TV star in the studio with us. How do you feel about today's format, Sean?
Well, I already got his signature. I'm pretty excited about that.
Did you have him sign the key to your house, or like how does that work?
No. My chest. No. No, I'm really excited. I think it's gonna be a fun little twist to the day, and I'm excited just to have like an open forum kind of.
Yeah, open forum. We're going to learn a kind of on a higher level, a deeper level of real estate than we would normally talk about, just the residential side, kind of home buyers, home sellers. We're going to go a little bit different twist today. Thanks to Charlie Coleman, who's sitting in seat 2 today with Pacific Sotheby's. Charlie, this is something that you really put together, so I want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for putting this together. And I know you also wanted to introduce the guest that you brought with us today.
Yes, I do. But I would like to tell you a little bit about who I am.
Yes, please.
And what I do. So I am with Pacific Sotheby's International Real Estate, and I got to tell you, it's the hottest moving company right now in San Diego. We're ranked number 3 in just 3 years, so it's simply amazing.
Wow.
And you can look at the stats on that, but that's enough for them.
Okay.
We're located over at the Old Naval Training Center, ironically.
Liberty Station, right?
Yeah.
I used to live there.
Liberty Station?
I did.
Or do you just own like 12 units there that you just forgot about?
No. I was there before like the parks, before the grocery stores and everything.
Did you hold?
No, I sold.
All right. Sorry, Charlie.
Sorry.
Well, I went to boot camp there in 1966.
Is that right?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Wow.
And my father went to boot camp there too. So
That's incredible.
Why did they cover that swimming pool?
I believe it's part of the high school.
Oh,
the
okay.
new high school. Yeah, I was waiting for that to see that because I remember being at the very top of the tower and standing with all those Navy guys, and nobody wants to jump. And this is a piece of cake. Come on, guys. But now I don't know why, but it was an eyesore. But what a great looking building. But
wow, that's an incredible story, Charlie.
so I'm married, 42 years in this real estate business, and I've been doing this for over 40 years. So it is kind of amazing. I have 2 grown boys, and I have 2 grandchildren, and I love what I do. But part of my life is I'm a member of the Downtown San Diego Kiwanis Club. And I don't know if you're familiar with Kiwanis, but it's an international organization. And I'm in the oldest club in San Diego. We're the very first club. And we're, in my opinion, we're very blessed. We have a foundation, and we have a lot of money, and we do a lot of big things. For instance, the Ronald McDonald House, San Diego Food Bank, San Diego Burn Institute, and we seeded the money for Rady's Children's Hospital, which at that time was the Children's Hospital.
That's incredible.
There's a lot of history, and one of the great things I really love in Kiwanis is working with kids, and we give out each year about $110,000 in scholarships to local colleges here.
That's amazing.
It is amazing.
great.
We've been doing that for quite a long time. But like I said, I've been in this business 40 years, and it's very exciting. And I've done a lot of different things. I've built with a contractor 2 major subdivisions. I built 8 senior apartment buildings, and I'm very active right now in assisted care living. I own with some partners a 49-bed senior facility in Lemon Grove.
Oh.
So you never know what avenue you're going to end up going down, when you're in this business. So, but I want to tell you a little bit about CT Homes. I met Dan Wright, which is the brother-in-law.
He is my brother-in-law.
Yeah.
Brother-in-law of who?
And he's smiling too.
We
so
haven't
that's a good thing.
introduced the brother yet.
I know. We're not yet. And I met Dan Wright in reference to a house that was across the street from me. And this couple had a horrendous problem. And as I was going through looking at what I needed to do, they were behind on taxes. I had to work with Dan McAllister. I had to bring in 2 attorneys to represent my client. And they had to sell this house fast. And it was an absolute mess. And I remember their mom and dad used to live in that house back in the 80s when I moved in. So I ended up making contact with a couple of flipping companies. And I think one of the greatest things that has happened to me this particular century is I met Dan Wright, and then I met the owner of CT Homes. We ended up having we had about 8 offers, and they were all flippers. And I took the top 3, and then when I did a little more homework, 2 of these flipping companies just didn't feel right, but it felt right with Dan and his company, CT Homes. So we made the deal. We closed. My clients were just tickled pink, and now we have a great home in my neighborhood. The neighborhood's definitely improved, and the house sold very, very quickly. It was very exciting for me. And you know, I really enjoy doing this, and it seemed like I went from one property to another and to another. And we made a lot of offers. I bet over 50. Can't remember really, but yeah, but it was good. But I'm very, very impressed. I did my homework. I went out and I looked at the properties that they had available for sale. And, you know, being in the construction business, I went and looked at the electrical box, and I looked at different things and what they did, and I was impressed.
So you're impressed by CT Homes.
Yes.
They flipped this house in your neighborhood.
Yes.
It was in shambles. They did a great job.
Yeah.
Dan Wright was your contact. Then you got to meet our special guest today. Would you like to introduce our special guest today?
Yes. Now, to my right over here is, I call him JD. JD is a wonderful guy, very, very busy. It's, as you well know, trying to get him here has been a little bit of a juggle, but that worked, I think, very, very well. But, you know, before I turn this over to JD, I want to say to Dan Wright and JD, I really thank you. Thank you for believing in me and working together. I think you've made money on every transaction. That makes me feel good because I'm always asking that question. So personally, 40 years in this business, I'm thanking you for being my friend and being a client.
That means a lot to me, Charlie.
That's great,
I
buddy.
appreciate the introduction, and it's people like you that make me want to get up every day and continue to go buy houses. So thank you for those kind words, and
Hey, you're very welcome.
thank you everyone for giving me the opportunity to be on the show today.
Yeah,
Great.
JD,
Definitely.
I got to tell you, I mean, it's been a long time since I've been starstruck, but I used to watch this guy on TV like 8-9 years ago flip this house. There was 3 different things going on. They had the Carolina people, Armando Montalongo, and then there was the CT Homes group, which you had Than Merrill.
My business partner still, and my friend,
He's
great friend.
Okay, he's still the business partner
Absolutely.
at CT Homes. Okay, and then your brother.
My brother Paul.
Paul?
Still my brother.
Still your
and,
brother?
Still my business partner. Can't get rid of him.
He's still a partner.
Yeah, still a partner.
And then Jeremy.
Jeremy Black, yeah.
Okay.
And he still works with us to this day.
He still works with
Yes.
you. And so you guys were you were in Connecticut.
Yeah, we started in New Haven, Connecticut, which is where we founded the business in 2004, actually late 2003, and we founded the business there, not because we're from there, because we're actually from California, but Than had gone to Yale and graduated and played in the NFL actually as well. And he got out of the NFL, was living in New Haven, and decided he was going to start investing in real estate, and that's where we founded. My brother at the time, Paul, was bartending in New York City, actually. And so the market in Connecticut made at least in New Haven, made a little bit more sense than Manhattan. And so he moved up to Connecticut, and they founded CT Homes in basically December of 2003.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they started buying houses. Now you're in Connecticut, so you're buying houses for 25, 50,000. I mean, what was that like?
It was definitely a change. I had moved from California to Connecticut in basically late 2004, and the housing market, was different at that time, obviously. But the housing pricing and seeing that you could buy a house in Connecticut, what you could buy it for in New Haven was eye-opening. Because we would buy houses for $5,000, $10,000, $15,000. Not all of them, but some of them, and juxtaposing that against what we could buy in California. I mean, we couldn't even buy a garage in California for $15,000,
especially during those years.
Yeah. So it was an eye opener. But it just like with any market that you look at, it's all numbers. What you buy it for, and then what you sell it for, and ultimately, the profit potential is different when you can buy houses in higher price point markets like California. You have the opportunity to make more profit as well. So it's all relative.
Yeah. Okay. Sean, what do you think about that? You're a guy who owns a lot of real estate here in California, specifically. When you hear about these guys who are on TV, A&E's Flip This House, doing this, buying these houses for $50,000 and then fix them up, sell them for $150,000. Does that sound more appealing? Do you feel like there's less risk as an investor for something like that?
I mean, I don't think that there's less risk. I mean, every single day I'm always approached with individuals saying, Sean, you still have missed out on so many years in Ohio, Mississippi, all these other areas. And then they're like, hey, I'm buying, I'll look at my portfolio. And I'm like, I'm still like starstruck at their portfolio. I'm like, wow, that is an incredible portfolio. So exactly what JD was just talking about. It's strictly, I still need directions and GPS to get here, even though I come to the studio all the time. But when numbers make sense to me, and so I just look at the numbers and the return and on the investment. So it doesn't matter if it's $15,000 or if it's $100,000. It's all capital based.
Yeah.
And so the only reason my wife and I personally have not done it is we don't have a company that's doing it on a regular basis. It's just for us. And the second thing is that I only can control so much. And so going out into Ohio and Mississippi and on those other areas, I just don't know the individuals out there to have the right contacts to make me feel warm and fuzzy about it.
I totally get it. Here's what we're going to do. Coming up, we're going to have more with reality TV star in the studio with us right now. JD Esajian is here from CT Homes, star from Flip This House on A&E. Stick around. We'll continue to make you smarter than everyone else.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Debate with Mr. Credit on AM 760 KFMB.
Liking this music, man. Welcome back. Thanks for hanging out with us on your Sunday afternoon. Mr. Credit here, of course, guaranteeing to make you smarter than everyone else. Very special format today on the show. Reality TV star from Flip This House on A&E. JD Esajian is here from CT Homes, LLC. My co-host today, of course, Sean Cahan, my good buddy from Cornerstone Mortgage Group. And Charlie Coleman is also in the studio with us as well from Pacific Sotheby's, who made this happen. So, Charlie, thank you for all this.
Hey, you're welcome.
JD, I have a lot of questions.
Yeah.
First of all, what you guys are doing right now. I want to talk about the show because I think there's still a lot of real estate shows out there, flipping house type shows.
More than ever.
Right?
Yeah.
And I remember when the first group came out, which was you guys and the other two we mentioned, it got a lot of people fired up to go buy real estate and flip houses. Mm-hmm. The way the shows are set up, it's almost like making it some sort of fantasy world of where you just buy homes, you're in your shorts all day, and you make $50,000 a deal. You order people around to put in countertops, and then you're walking away with profit. And what's really interesting about what you guys do, you have a side called the education side called Fortune Builders.
Yes, we do.
And it's fortunebuilders.com,
yes,
right?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
So where you teach people how to do this.
Exactly.
Now, did you decide to do that because you thought a lot of people were going to see this show and go out and do the wrong thing? And what's going on with Fortune Builders to this day?
Well, interestingly enough, I mean, when we got had the opportunity to be on the show, we had already done over 200 houses at that point. So we were already really active in the business. We had the opportunity to be on the show, and that exposed our business to a lot of different people. And we'd already started teaching and training in our local market at local real estate clubs and things like that. And what started to happen, interestingly enough, is people that saw the show that were fans would call in or email into our office wanting more information about how to actually invest. And we found out, at least from our perspective, that there were people out there that really were hungry for good information, because we have and still develop a lot of systems around real estate investing. That's really what drives our investing business and now our education. And people wanted to have an opportunity to learn those systems or apply those systems whether they were brand new in the business or they'd been investing for a while and wanted to invest better, faster, streamline their business. So that's really where the genesis of Fortune Builders started, and we started to continue to educate and train. And what makes us unique, I think, on the education side, one of the things is that we still actively invest at a really high level. I mean, so we're in the trenches every day. And so we learn new things every day. We stay ahead of the market. And so we adapt our investing and then subsequently adapt our education around what we're doing and the latest things that we're creating or the ways that we renovate a house or our analysis of the market.
I think it's key for that because I coach other radio hosts, and if I didn't host a show, it would be kind of ridiculous to coach other hosts, right? Now, the thing that's really cool about this, and what's great is we can get Sean's perspective as an investor, is that you guys you're investors. But then you start Fortune Builders, and Fortune Builders, you're training other people to be investors in your own marketplace even, right? Yeah,
locally and across the country too.
What I love about that is there's absolutely no fear in that. I mean, there's, because a lot of people are like, no, I want to keep all these secrets, what we're doing, how we're running spreadsheets and all of our contacts. I don't want to tell anyone how to do this business. Did anything like that ever come up with you guys?
Great question, and actually probably one of the number one questions I'll get asked by individuals is, aren't you creating your own competition? And there's a book called Mindset, and they talk about fixed versus growth mindset in that book. We've always thought that the person that tries to shelter themselves or not share information has what we call more of a fixed mindset. And what ends up happening is they limit their opportunities and their ability to do deals with other people. If you look at it on the flip side of that and you have a growth mindset, you share information, what you do is you create a better community of people that are investing at a better level, that are more educated, and you have the opportunity to do more business. Because when you're investing in real estate the way that we do when we're buying, fixing, and selling houses, we're trading deals. I might buy a deal and it doesn't, or I might have a deal under contract, doesn't work for me, but if I've trained someone else and it fits their criteria, then I can sell them that deal, vice versa. So it creates a more educated group of people who are actually investing.
It's almost like a marketplace.
Yeah.
Are you creating an investor marketplace? Is that what you're doing?
That's one thing that it does do it. Yeah, it creates a more educated platform for people to do deals together. Now, that doesn't mean that we always trade deals, but it allows it creates more opportunity at the end of the day.
Sean, what do you think as an investor? Does that sound like something that makes sense to you and that you would be interested in kind of learning more about?
I mean, yes, absolutely. I love that model. I've always actually, like in my loans, I do like roundtable for loan officers, teaching them in my own market how to become better, how to become more efficient. Go get those realtors that we're all competing for. I teach them what I'm actually doing. Same thing. Yeah. So, but then you also get the respect too, right? And so it has broadened that spectrum of how many people that you actually get to work with, like you said. So everything that you were just saying, I just don't do it in like investing per se. But I've even opened up, so like my investing model that I go after is a lot different than most people. But I always stick to it. And so a lot of people are like, well, how did you get to this model? And I'm like, well, here's how I did it, and if you want to do the same thing, I can show you how to do it, and I can tell you even the people that I use to get me there. And so they're kind of like taken back a little bit. Yeah, I just think that there's so much out there that we all can benefit from.
And that's just abundance consciousness versus lack consciousness.
Absolutely.
And in abundance consciousness, there's no lack of anything. In lack consciousness, you create lack by hoarding and keep staying away from everyone. So you have a flow. You have a great flow of information, a great flow of positive energy through all these investors sharing your secrets, if you will. I do have one question I've been curious about forever.
Okay, that sounds good.
Who came up with the name Fortune Builders, and did they know that there was a play on words there, or I mean, it sounds like like a fan thing.
I would like to be able to say that everything that we've done from day one was purposeful, and that we knew that it was going to end up being this other thing or bigger thing that our business has grown into, but that's not the case. I mean, frankly, we made decisions on the information we had at the time. The name certainly is catchy, easy to remember. The URL, URL was available. Definitely. The URL was available. Frankly,
that's half the battle.
You make your decisions sometimes when in this day and age when you're naming a company on what you want the company to stand for, certainly, but you also want to see is the website available too? Can I get the URL? Right. So there was a combination of factors that played into the decision. We had the idea of the logo and FB, and so it just thinking about that. But it wasn't anything where we had this grandiose plan and we knew that down the road that all these things would have happened. We had goals, obviously, but those are some of the decisions we made.
I remember the first time I saw that name on the show. I don't remember what episode it was, but you guys were doing a seminar. It was when you were still in Connecticut.
Yep.
And you were getting together and you're saying, okay, we have 50 RSVPs,
Yeah,
and then
I
and the
remember
cameraman or something was like, hey, what is this? What are you guys doing?
Yeah.
Like, you're training people to do what you do?
Uh-huh.
And Tham was like, yeah, this is what we're doing. Fortune Builders. And I was like, oh, dude, that's just such a good name.
It is a good name. I have to
building
admit.
fortunes,
Yeah.
you're building houses. I mean, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
So I don't know if anyone can take credit for it. I'm sure it was a group decision, but I've always just been curious if that was, so purposeful, because it is such a good name. And it's so hard to come up with good brands these days, like you said, because nothing's available.
Yeah, I mean it is, and there was definitely some reasons why we made those decisions, but I can look back and say that that we made a good decision on that name, definitely.
Yeah, agree. And we're running short on time, but I also want to. You guys have started a realty organization as well.
Yeah, we have a brokerage here locally in San Diego, as well as in a couple other markets. Realty National is that brokerage.
Realty National.
Realty National.
Okay, so if someone is out there driving around and they see a for sale sign from Realty National, that's the guys from CT Homes and Flip This House. That's your company.
Definitely affiliated with us. You're going to see one of two things. You're going to see the Realty National for sale sign, or you'll see a CT Homes LLC for sale sign. So we market both ways on our properties.
Very, very cool. Well, I can't tell you how awesome it's been to have you here, JD Esajian.
Pleasure. Yeah, I appreciate it very
from
much.
CT Homes, Realty National, reality TV star from A&E's Flip This House. Was awesome. You can go back and watch the episodes online. If you haven't seen it, I'm so jealous of you. You can go back and watch them all for the first time right now online. Special thanks to Charlie Coleman from Pacific Sotheby's for setting this all up. Charlie, thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Sean, you're sticking with me, my friend, for the rest of the hour. Is that cool?
Oh yeah, that's fine.
All right, great stuff.
Yep.
Stick around. We'll continue to make you smarter than everyone else right here on the Real Estate Debate. Mr. Credit, AM 760, KFM.